Good evening and welcome to my new program. It's called Never Die Easy. This is episode 1. It's not a bad time to innovate. With most of the countries around us here in Vietnam coming out of the social distancing, where we've been in lockdown for several weeks, and schools opening soon, it's a time for us to focus back on the things that we may have learned or not enjoyed, or maybe enjoyed a little bit from the time that we were in lockdown. A lot of my friends and family back home in America are just in the process now of coming back and the economy reopening. So I thought this would be a good time to talk about what you could do with that time after coming out of the quarantine. It's pretty easy to focus on negatives. A lot of us have been feeling bored. You kind of get into the same routines every day of waking up, maybe doing a little cleaning, watch some Netflix, have a meal, watch some more Netflix. If you've got family around, maybe a little bit of arguing. Also, the loss of income has not been easy for a lot of people. There have been those people that still have been able to work, those essential workers, but for a lot of us, the income is closed off. I'm a small business operator. I'm in fashion design, and I do personal design and work with a group of tailors and shoemakers to make things for individual clients. So with social distancing, it's been impossible to get out and see anybody for about the last month. The other thing that a lot of people have felt as a bit of a negative is the closing of businesses. I've been going out here over the last week into District 1, Ho Chi Minh City, where I live, and I've seen a lot of companies that now coming off lockdown aren't unlocking the doors. They're out of business, and the feeling here is that it will take a little bit of time for some businesses to come out to replace those. Also, I've not seen a lot of people in the city center, and I think that's indicative of the fact that there's not a lot of tourists here or in any other countries right now, as people are still trying to figure this thing out. But what we need to focus on coming out of something like this are the positives. I kind of joked a little bit earlier about what the daily routine is like, but in reality, having family time, even if it's forced on you for a period of weeks, is really a blessing for a lot of people. Myself, I've got a wife and 3 young children at home, and so being able to spend more time with them being out of school. We endure the little fights here and there between two older sisters fighting over toys. But for the most part, it's been nice to be able to sit down and read books for them, go through some educational videos, help them with their learning because they still have homework assignments. Also, just learning some new skills. At the time when the kids are down, I've spent a lot of that time watching how-to videos on YouTube, trying to learn some skills that might help me with advancing my business coming out of this, or protecting my business in case something like this happens again in the future. Something that worries me a lot is, how do I do marketing? How do I do consultations with my clients if I can't physically see them? And I haven't had to think about that very much because I have a good customer base here in Saigon, but most of those are foreigners, or what we call expats or expatriates. And quite a few of them have moved on, gone back home as a result of this outbreak. So coming out of this, I have to be concerned with finding new clients, which is marketing. I also have to think about how I might reach clients in other markets that could use my service, back home in my own country in the US, possibly over in Europe and in Australia, where I've had some overseas orders that I've worked with, but I haven't had the mechanisms put in place. So this is something new for me, and I've been studying quite a bit of this. During this, it led me to the idea of doing this type of a video, because I imagine that there are other small business operators that are having some of the same difficulties. And so I want to take and share with them some of the ideas that I've come up with, things that might be transferable to their type of business. Also, based on some of my past experience, because I have worked as a consultant in Asia for quite a number of years before going into fashion design about a decade ago. And so I was there when we had the economic collapse in 2008. I was consulting with two major international companies, specifically on sales and marketing, and help them to recover and go forward during that collapse. One of the other things that you need to really focus on are the things that you're doing within your business. There are some things that I believe that you can change to make your overhead lower. Some people now have been working from home. There are a lot of things that I think can be done from home by computer with a lot of your people in your office or in your business. You might explore that and see if there's a way to have them fulfilling some of those tasks at home. This could allow you to reduce the overall space that you're using for your business. If you're working from an office, send some of those staff home or have them working on a rotating basis where they're sharing office space, so that you can reduce overall the amount of space that you're using for your business. That could be a big way to save money, allowing you to keep more staff, keeping those jobs, because keeping the jobs are things that is one of the main things that's going to help the economy recover. A lot of countries have taken a huge hit, and this is going to be mostly because of small business failure. The large companies are still there, but even those will see reduced profits because people are out of work. They're not going to have the income to go out and buy things. So if we want to kickstart this economy, we really need to focus on helping the small businesses survive. Small restaurants, small shops, any kind of small business. When you have disposable income, try to help them out, because that will make the difference in them staying alive and keeping people employed. I currently have about 20 staff that work with me, and one of my main concerns in restarting is getting work so that they can get paid, not so much for myself. What I'm seeing is that this pandemic is likely going to eliminate a lot of jobs. Where I'm at in Southeast Asia, one of the main industries is tourism. Vietnam, I think it ranks as the second or third largest industry. Thailand, it's probably up there almost at number one. It's a big industry over in Cambodia as well. Singapore is a bit more insulated because they have a lot more corporate work there, but even they depend a bit on the income that comes from tourists. So this is something that within these markets we're going to have to figure out a way to kickstart the economy without having that tourism money coming in for probably a little while. I've been hearing some estimates that it could be a year, possibly 3 years, before we start to see the same level of tourists that we've got coming in. And that affects not just the hotels and the airlines and the ground transportation companies. It affects almost every business when it's that large of a part of the economy. I had thought for a while that it wouldn't really impact mine, but certainly it does, because the clients that I have here, they rely on money from tourism for their businesses. It affects the real estate rates, it affects everything. So we have to think first about what's happening at home. And looking back at my home country, America, it's going to be the same thing there. There's a lot of, I think it was well over 25 million people that have become unemployed since the quarantines have gone into place. We have to think about how those people can get back into the workforce. And my own feeling is that most of that's going to come from small business. Certainly quite a few have probably had to close their doors, but that's opening up opportunities for people with innovative ideas on new businesses or new ways of doing business that could put people to work. And like I said, I can't say this enough, you need to focus on spending your money with small companies, because the more that we get the money flowing through the economy, especially one small town after the other, the faster those little towns will recover, and that will carry on upward into the larger companies. I want to use this program as it develops further for sharing specific ideas, maybe even business or industry specific, on things that can be done to improve business or to innovate into this new realm of doing business. It will be done a bit more professionally in the future. I have some friends that are in the production business, but they are from other countries like Australia, Canada, UK, and so they have gone home during this problem, and I expect that they'll come back and have plenty of energy to help me with putting together this program in the near future. Also on future episodes, as we start to identify who's watching the program and what specifically they could use to help them in their business, I would like to bring in friends of mine who are well placed in certain business fields so that we can have them as a guest on the program and we can ask them specific questions. I think also in the future I would like to maybe see if there's a way of doing this as a live program. In closing, I would just like to say that if you see any benefit to this type of a program, please leave me some comments so that you can give me ideas about things that you might benefit from in the future, things that I can develop for future programs or for inviting future guests. Also, I'm going to be putting this on YouTube, so please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I've been on Facebook for nearly a decade with my business pages, and so please like my page on Facebook as well. It's King Smith. And I look forward to seeing this audience grow over time and hearing back from you on things that I've shared with you or that my guests have shared with you that have inspired you or have helped you in this time and in the future. So now, time for me to go back to work. I'm going to have to step outside for a little bit, so should probably be ready. Have a great evening.